I know the temptation when something is so bad and there's so much of it is just to turn it off. You get compassion fatigue, but you got to dare to care. Life is precious in those shootings, and we can't forget what happened to all those people in East Palestine, Ohio, because they're getting answers, but they're getting them from the wrong place. They're having to find them themselves. It's been 3.5 months. They're still getting sick, still pleading with officials for testing. They had a town hall tonight. They had an independent tester come in, and the results were as bad as many feared. Joining us now is East Palestine resident Jamie Wallace. We've been following her family since the train derailment and fire. And Scott Smith, Chief Sustainability Officer at Eco Integrated Technologies. He conducted those tests on area furnaces. Why? Because they would be collection points for dioxins. That's why. It's good to have you both. Jamie, first, how's your husband? How's your kid? How's your mom? How's the family?
Everyone's doing pretty good that's been outside of town. Tonight at the town hall, my mother had to leave early because she got very sick. So as long as we stay out of the area, we're fine. A lot of our neighbors and friends aren't as lucky. They can't get out of the area right now.
Right. Scott Smith, a lot of people are skeptical when they hear these reports, like, maybe they're just looking for money or something. After what the testing is that you've done, do you believe why people are worried about how they feel when they're there?
First of all, thanks for having me. Thanks to NewsNation for being the only national network committed. These residents in this community wouldn't have hope right now if it weren't for NewsNation. These people are sick. These chemicals are not ubiquitous in the environment. It's very simple. You can't find what you don't look for. And we looked for the full spectrum of dioxins and chemicals.
So, Scott, why am I hearing this from you and not some federal or state agency that is doing this in response to the calls after a disaster that's on their watch?
Great question. I don't have the exact answer. I have it myself. The EPA has a $12 billion budget, 15,000 employees. They fund a lot of grants to tax-exempt corporations, otherwise known as nonprofits. They could clearly come up with a few $1 million for independent testing. But I think we're at a point in this country where it's undue influence. You look at these large corporations, and I want to tell you, I have been doing this for, in my own disaster 17 years ago. I've worked with Senator Chuck Schumer and George Pataki in that 500-year flood where my own life was wiped out. That's where I decided to do this. And back then, everybody worked together, no matter what side of the aisle, and we need to get back to that. But why? Corporate lobbyists, let there be no doubt about it, public relations people are calling all the shots for the railroad, and there's undue influence. The workers on the ground, I've been in 60 disasters, EPA, great, honest people, they want to do the right thing, but they're held back by the PR narrative.
Right. And just last question, Scott, do you have any question that if something isn't done, people are going to keep getting sick?
Yeah, and in 60 disasters, what stands out this one, people are getting sicker. This is unlike anything I've ever seen. They're not making it up. And when the government and the PR people say that it's mass psychosis, that is unacceptable to let that happen to our fellow American citizens.
Yeah, you got to ask the question, maybe it is mass psychosis on their part. Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.